You're tuning in to Gone.net.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Gone.net. It's Friday. We're only 5 minutes behind schedule, which is actually, I don't know if you do this thing with people, but in Microsoft, we typically, people will start meetings like 5 minutes after the hour or half hour to give people like time to hit, the bathroom on the way or whatever. But it's kind of funny because most of us are remote anyway. But I guess you still got to get up sometime. So that's why we're doing this. I'm just trained to go 5 minutes past the hour. That's
why I set the meeting for us to start 10 minutes before, and then you show up 5 minutes after.
Yeah, exactly.
So we won't babble too much because I think we've got like an absolute ton to talk about today.
Yeah.
This might be one of the cooler shows we've done. At least I think it is. I mean, Sherpa was pretty cool, which you'll still show some of the stuff.
We'll show some of that.
But I think, well, let's talk about it. Do you want to introduce it?
Yeah. So, first, before we get into that, one of the things I wanted to do, we were talking about how do we want to show how we work on things, how this all works. So this is, we talked about Maui DevFlow last time a bit, I think, right? About connecting it up and maybe
a little bit.
So I've been it's been kind of fun because I've been iterating on Maui DevFlow, which is basically a tool to help you talk to your Maui apps or help AI talk to your Maui apps, right? So it can go and like inspect the visual tree. It can go interact with stuff. It can get screenshots, and then it can do it for Blazor too, for the Blazor hybrid apps. So that's been fun. And as I've been building this thing, especially for new platforms, which we'll talk about in a bit, I've been having this thing build out its own sample app so that Maui DevFlow, while it's building its sample app to test itself, can start implementing more functionality and features and fixing bugs within Maui DevFlow that it needs to fix in order to be able to accomplish building the sample app that it's trying to build, right? So it's like this full circle of they're building each other, right?
Debug itself in a manner of
basically. So anyway, I've been using this for Sherpa like crazy, and I just wanted to, I'm going to kick off. I have a prompt here.
Now this is, you're in Copilot CLI.
I'm in Copilot CLI.
The .NET tool installed.
And I don't know why. Okay, it does show the whole thing. So I'm in planning mode, and this is kind of the flow I've been using. And we don't have to read the whole prompt, but essentially I was thinking of a new feature, and I want to start this off, and we'll see how it progresses through the show, maybe as it's going. So I've got this plan, and basically, again, you don't have to read it all. I want to add a new section to the app that lets us just store like arbitrary secrets, right? We can sync like the certificates and stuff right now if you have a cloud provider set up. I have other things in my apps, like maybe not have all secrets, but like
Sentry,
my Sentry, those kind of keys. And because this thing has the publish workflow for CI, I kind of want to just centralize all my stuff and have it in one spot. So when I go do that process, it's just there, right?
Sweet.
So I basically said, come up with a plan. I want to add this new feature. I want it to look like this. I want you to plan the like success criteria for yourself for what this, when it's done, what it will look like, or what you have to check. And then I said, we also want to use Maui DevFlow because you can then go validate the actual app itself. Now, I think this shouldn't take too long to actually come up with a plan, and then we'll have to like see the plan and start it, approve it.
Now, once you start the plan, just so everyone's aware, the reason John can walk away from it is because he's going to go YOLO, which means don't ask me anything. You have full permissions to remove -rf.
Yeah, which I've already done. It's got, I mean, like that's always the example. And that's the thing. Like there's some safety rails, and not that I want to say you should just blindly trust this all, but I'm pretty confident in my prompts and stuff that I have that it's not going to do anything too nefarious.
There we go.
In planning mode, this
is questions.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, right? So it's like, we want to flag these secrets as created by Sherpa so that not every thing we see, from the provider that we'll see. I don't know. I don't
Not
care.
a bad
Man.
idea,
Just like,
but no, I wouldn't.
oh,
Don't touch. I'll put the keys in the way I decide.
Well, no, sure. But like if my provider does, I'm just gonna use metadata on the secret. If my provider has like other stuff in it, I don't necessarily want to see that in Sherpa and vice versa. Yeah, let's do string values only. Already handled by internally. I don't know. I guess like I don't care, man. Like figure it out. It can always like what it does for certificates now. I think is base 64 encode it.
Yeah, well, that's how most of the action, the GitHub Actions work with is the base 64. It's easier than getting the file upload because then you got to pull it.
Yeah,
and then you're like, well, where did it store it? It's a pain.
So yeah, let's go like that. I've basically said, I'm answering questions, but like at the end of the day, if I don't like this, we can always steer it another way as it's implementing too. So it should be about ready, and then we'll kick it off with going into normal mode,
and then we'll let it run while we talk about some of the other things.
Right. So what do you want to talk about first?
Well, so let's start with the first two things, and then I'll clarify. So first of all, John had this idea the other night. He's like, I'm gonna try and steer AI to build a terminal for .NET MAUI. And he sent this to me and I was like, are you kidding me? And he's like, yeah, look at it, it's working. Sends me a video. And you had everything like, I don't know, man, it was pretty awesome. And then I was like, you know what? This is a stupid project. Right. It for me.
Yeah. No, for sure. I agree. Like I don't, this was a fun thing to try. It's not something I think I would actually really want to use.
I don't know, man. It's not bad. Now, before you show that,
okay.
Then I decided, okay, what's a stupid, like terminal, I think has some legs. Honestly, when you see this thing working, you're not bad.
That's not terrible.
So I decided, what's a stupid platform that I could hit? I decided on Apple TV. So that's what we've advertised today is terminal and Apple TV. Yeah. Now, before I stopped there, both John and I ended up doing one more each. So there's actually 4 platforms we're going to be showing today, which is crazy because before we would have said, yeah, that'll take months. And we've done this between the two of us in like 4 days.
Yeah.
So with that, go ahead and show us terminal because this is awesome. I do think
neat.
It has legs.
So this is
easy to expand on. Now I'll shut up.
This is Maui, right? So like the one thing that and I can show you hopefully in a bit. I don't know if the XAML version of these pages work yet. I haven't really tried that. So this is all in C#, right? But it's still a Maui page and stuff. So I can click the button, right? Updates the label. I've got an alert. I've got an entry, multi-line editor, right? And then scroll bar. Right?
Well, that's ugly.
Oh, it's terrible. We got a checkbox, we got a switch, we got the sliders, and then we got a picker. Oh, cool. So the basic controls just kind of work, right? But then
it's awesome, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah. And then it gets kind of crazy, right? As you start being like, oh, what about a collection view, right? Because you right away were like, we'll do a collection view.
Yeah. I was challenging. I'm like, if you don't do a collection view, all bets are off.
Yeah.
Turns out that one's not the hard one. There's 2 others that I found were harder.
Sure, yeah.
But also notice that you've got the tabbed bar, right? Which that's another thing. That's not 5 seconds of usage. It's the tabbed page.
Right. So tab page here, up at the top, right? Tabs in here. And so like this is the grouped collection view, which is like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Okay.
Templates, data templates.
I didn't even do that.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. And like multi-select, right? Why not, right? So that's wild. And then like navigation. So this actually doesn't come through clearly. This is the toolbar item at the top of your page. And like we could tweak it and have it be like, this kind of looks weird. Maybe we want to do something different, but whatever, right? You can push pages around. Obviously on the terminal, like what's a page? Right? You're not getting a transition or anything. But it works. It works. And then, modal page, same thing as like, oh, well, that's modal, which is kind of neat because it goes,
it's over top.
It's over top. So we can dismiss that modal. And then just like a form, right? And I can tab through this all. I can hit enter and keyboard command through it all. The scrolling down after you tab to the next field doesn't work, but I'm sure that's a bug that could be fixed. I don't know if the date and time picker work here. I think they don't yet.
Okay.
But anyway, like, I mean, that's pretty cool for not a lot of time of work. And I want to also preface this that with this stuff is, and this is kind of a theme you and I have been talking about. A lot of these things are possible because of the foundational work that others have done, right? So I'm using, when I did the prompt for this, I'm like, hey, I know there's this terminal UI library in .NET. I really need to get the name of it because I think the author is owed credit at the very least.
Terminal. I'll put it on screen when I share the links and stuff.
Because it's an awesome library, and that has allowed, doing this UI. It's not like I invented the terminal UI code or anything like that. I'm using somebody else's library, so it's awesome.
xenonatom.github.io, but the link will be on our it'll be on the episode.
So that works okay. It's not bad, right?
I think it's pretty slick, man. I think why would you say it's not ready for, I don't know, even a POC type app?
Yeah, I think the thing with a lot of the stuff that you and I have been doing this week, because it's obviously we're using Copilot or AI or whatever to do it. And I know we talked about this last time too, like a lot of people, there is a lot of contention in the ecosystem in general, like not just .NET. I mean, in like our industry, of like AI is terrible. We should never use it. And I didn't do a thorough review of this code. I'm like, just putting that out there. There's going to be bugs. There's probably going to be things that are like, that was a terrible way to implement this. We should never do it this way. So, and like you said too, this is like, you're going to hit all sorts of stuff. And that's where, somebody is going to have to spend time if we want to make this kind of thing a viable thing to use. But that's okay. Like the point, I think, is the foundation is here. So if somebody really felt strongly about going and improving and making something like this work, like the head start on the hours and hours and hours to get the basics set up is huge. And then for the back end stuff for Maui in particular, like one of the things that's been helpful, and I think you and I have both kind of like piggybacked off of each other's work in the sense that, like, if you have a problem, the alert service stuff isn't working for dialogues, right? I'm like, yeah, I know. I had, AI capture a nice doc of what's missing from the Maui, public APIs. Like, here's the doc. If you feed that to your model now, your model doesn't have to work as hard to get around all of the stuff maybe. And so like there's been that kind of progression where for my next, platform, I'm like, hey, look at terminal UI, look at this doc, look at these things. Like as we accumulate kind of the knowledge along the way, these things will get better and better at just doing it. So,
and as we went through this, we found out that we had to make a feature request anyways. I think there was an existing one already.
Yeah.
So basically, to get alerts working, you need reflection right now, because somebody on Maui decided it was good for internal sealed.
Yeah.
But that's all right. That's what happened. So there is a request in already for it. When I show my platform, so we're not going to talk about the extra 2 platforms yet. I think we can be like, surprise.
Yep.
So for Apple TV, there is no reflection. It is development is AOT. Release is AOT. It's only AOT. So anytime reflection gets touched, it blows up, and that's it.
You can't do the alert stuff then, or did you end up using? Okay,
you can. I could not figure out a way around it, aside from implementing it ourselves, which I did not want to do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring up my screen. What the heck is my screen in here? There we go.
Yeah, my Sherpa prompt is still kind of boring. It's still doing a lot of like the initial work just in the code. Maybe once it starts interacting more at that point, we'll flip back over.
All right. I'll show off. So just for the record, this is John's editor. Oh, you got it. How did you get your video working on here? Look at that.
Just captured a movie and dragged it into the README file.
Didn't want to do that for me. And there's a link to Xenon Atom Terminal
really,
UI.
really awesome. And There's a few others that are in the works too. I just picked this one because looking at it, I'm like, this has a lot of things already implemented.
It's awesome.
Like we could do the flyout page and stuff like with those resizable panes and stuff. I'm sure. Like,
actually, that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's that. Don't look too far ahead because I've got all the other links up here. But so I'm going to minimize that and welcome to Apple TV.
Apple TV.
So something that now you didn't do any of the essentials for
not for terminal, right? No, because like I don't know, some of those would be weird.
Maybe device info, maybe app info.
I don't know what like you're not going to do. I don't know. Maybe you can do geolocate. Like what? Some stuff would be just weird.
No, I didn't end up doing geolocation for any of my stuff either. But so here we got buttons. We got a grid layout. Mine does not look as pretty as John's. But
no, well, is some of that? Do you think like the handlers, the properties and stuff not being mapped super well yet, or is it more like the sample itself?
It's a little bit of the sample itself because I was. It's a little bit harder to learn the stuff for Apple TV. There's not really a lot out there. Like you can see the buttons are kind of working.
They've got like rounded corners, but like the native button Chrome is still there, which is so like the other thing I think we were talking about, it's worth mentioning. I don't think a lot of these platforms are going to be something that we're like, oh, now you can just bring your Maui app as is over.
No.
Right? That's not the point. And especially for something like Apple TV, I think the point is if I'm going to think about creating an Apple TV app, I know how to write Maui code. I know how to work in that world. Even if it was a separate project entirely and like I had an iOS, cross-platform multi-targeted app, I could still share a bunch of stuff. My view models and stuff like that. But like maybe the XAML and pages I don't necessarily share so much or whatever. It's more that now I know how to build the app. I don't have to learn this whole new world of UI stuff.
To be fair, I think it'll be fairly easy to get XAML compilation going.
I think so.
I had some initial problems and single projects was initial problems, but like I don't know anybody doing straight macOS or straight tvOS on .NET is like a bonus. I don't, as it is, like some of the issues, like this was a learning exercise for me because I've never done anything with Apple TV. And so like it, like half the things, like I don't even think tvOS properly works with .NET because I don't think really anybody uses it now. Maybe there is.
There's like I don't know if we publicly talk about them, so I'm not going to say, but we have at least one like reasonable sized customer that was using it.
So, I mean, one of the things I found is I had to do a full rebuild and relaunch every time. And I don't even know the commands for it. Like Rider has no idea. Visual Studio Code has no idea. Like I'm basically telling AI, run this.
It does slightly a different kind of runtime than the others. So
now it works, no problem. I just tell it every time, full rebuild, full relaunch. Now, as I went through this too, like I said, so these buttons are working. They look kind of funky. Tabs are working. They look kind of funky, which we'll go through.
But you have like the grid. You have like the layouts are working. Like
horizontal and vertical stack layouts and grids, which is arguably really you can do anything with those two layouts, right? Yeah. Arguably, I get it. There's a scroll view. Now, funny enough, this platform you don't mouse around like I'm using keyboard. And so you can have a scroll view in this. And then like I've got all the stuff, right? So there's a slider. There's a switch, which doesn't exist. That's why I didn't do a checkbox on this platform. Shadows do work, though it's hard to tell on this button, but it is there. I'm not sure. There is borders here. You can see them.
I can see like the dotted line and everything too.
Now I got to have to fix that because this is the thing with Apple TV is it goes to anchor points. So if you look at my collection view, and this is where the difficulties, why you're not just going to write a .NET MAUI app and have it work.
Yeah.
So something like collection view, you'll notice I can't scroll because there's nothing to anchor to. Mm-hmm. You need like buttons or like a view or something that it can hook onto to scroll. So that's not a traditional UI. Like it's just, you've got to do some work to get there. But like all your normal stuff, like an entry, Like it's very Apple TV. It works. The picker, it brings up the pop-up.
Yeah.
Now, again, I couldn't do dialogues for this.
Yeah.
So no alerts, confirms because of the reflection. You do reflection, poof, it explodes. But images work. They're there. Progress bar, horizontal layout, which you can't see, is there. Shadow. There's a carousel view, but I have no, again, nothing to grab onto, so I can't scroll it. So those are just some of the things that have to be looked at still. Essentials. See, I have put hooks in here so I can scroll down.
Yeah.
But
that might be like a matter of getting, like, there's probably some kind of visual impacting control that you could use and start telling it to like sprinkle into certain scenarios, right?
And I mean, you probably won't hear this, but
hello from Maui.
I don't know if you hear that in the background.
I can hear it.
But like, so file system, text to speech, device display, connectivity is all working with the events, device info, app info, it all works. So, and those were the main essentials. That was pretty much all the essentials that I could get for Apple TV that would work. And then storage, preferences.
Yeah.
So like if we type in, right, and it'll save it. I believe it did save it. You can increment a counter, clear the preferences, start again. Right, same for secure storage. Funny enough, it lets me type in there, but everything is keyboard.
Yeah.
Remove all secrets.
Sweet.
So that's it. That's Apple TV. It, like I said, there is problems. It's not going to be your standard navigation. I don't even know what I would do for a collection view right now to make this scrollable, to be honest. Maybe some sort of funky grouped headers.
Yeah, well, that's why I mean, like, maybe the thing to ask it is something around like, hey, whatever the terminology is, like, can you look at how we might like wrap our collection view cell items or whatever in something that will have it be an anchor point.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I can't even think of a case where collection view wouldn't have that in an Apple TV app, right?
Yeah.
Because if I think about like Netflix, which is like 90% of your apps in Apple TV, they're all like a collection and then like a carousel. So, and they all have images and like image buttons to snap to. So arguably it's pretty easy to do that just from a standard kind of flow. And that's navigation working as well, obviously.
Yeah. And that'll be an interesting one too. If ever, we take this farther at all, it's like sometimes navigation is weird. And I feel like you probably have to influence it a little bit on Apple TV if you want it to work a certain way.
I don't think it's as bad as, because a lot of the Apple controls for the most part are the same, believe it or not. Like the calls versus iOS, more or less the same. It's just you have to use buttons, right? Everything's button based. So it's weird. I feel like this is functional. You could probably do something okay with it. Obviously, with once we clean up some of those bugs.
Well, and again, for a first pass at just having something working, like from here on, it's possible to do more. It gives a good foundation, a good starting point. Like that's when we talk about how do we do collection view, like that's the kind of thing that also, like, I've been finding it is pretty easy in a sense to kind of navigate your AI through improving. And this is, I know people talk a lot about like, oh, we're going to all be replaced, but I think like this is a good case of showing the value that, we still have as developers, right? Like it can do this, but you're going to have to really guide it through the more detailed steps of things. And even if we're shifting more from writing the code ourselves, you still have to be kind of an expert to know how to get it to do what you want.
I still find that I'm helping a lot with architecture. So I go in there and I set things up and then I'm like, use that as an example. Do that. Don't argue with me. As it was when I did this app, these sample apps, there was a couple controls where AI decided to put get a waiter.get result. And if John hears me all the time, I'm like, because I see that and that's instantly like this app fails.
Yeah.
So and I'm a lot more colorful with AI than John is. Basically, I tell it, if you ever use that effing thing again, I'll kill you. Don't do it. Don't do it.
That might be like, because I know, we talk about like skills and stuff now. And I know that like .NET is working on figuring out that story for .NET stuff. That's the kind of thing that, you know, I can see getting better as we get more skills and stuff available, where it would just be like, yeah, like best practices, like don't do this.
Right. And it did, and it was causing crashes.
Yep.
And I went in and I looked at the code. I was like, yeah, why are you doing that? You're causing deadlocks. And if you cause a deadlock in a native app, they're so hard to find. Oh my God. So anyhow, it was instructed, don't ever do that. If you've done it anywhere else that I can't see, find it, burn yourself, and then remove it. So we got there. It just took a while. Now my two controls, and I'm going to go into the next platform since I've got the screen. I may as well go to mine before John's.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Let's flip back. I want to.
Okay.
I paused my session specifically.
Okay.
I don't know if I can show mine. Well,
there you go.
So it's done the first part. It did the code, and now it's ready. And we'll see. Maybe it'll blow up right away. But it's ready to start. You know, it's like, okay, what's remaining? I need to relaunch and validate the UI with Maui DevFlow, right? So it's gonna go run this thing now, and I might have to pull it up. Oh no, it started up again.
There we go.
Mac's good at that.
Let's see what it looks like. So this is always the mystery for John too. What's it going to look like?
Well, you can see it added the menu item, right? It reorganized things how I asked it to. So it's waiting right now just to make sure things are up and running.
What the hell is debug UI, John? What is debug UI? Is that?
What do you mean? Which?
In the bottom left-hand corner. Did you add new features you haven't told me about?
Or
is that for dev? In the bottom of the window. Not Copilot.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. That is a new feature.
Oh.
And it is, let's see if it actually gets this. Navigation didn't work. Oh, there you go. You got there. So
secrets.
It went over and
navigated itself.
Yeah. So and now it's going to start finding like, oh, I see this, but it says no cloud provider. Hopefully now let's see if it goes to settings. And this is again where you maybe have to start kind of steering it.
It's going to do it. Well, it's not going to know what to type in unless you've told it though.
No. But I have the thing set up. So it's clearly there's a bug in here. It doesn't think I do. And so hopefully it's going to go and be like, hey, or I might have to guide it and be like, actually, this is ready. You shouldn't have to, you should fix the bug essentially.
Okay.
And I told it to remove the button from this page, and now it's under that secret section, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no secret button there, dark mode. So it's going to flip itself over to dark mode and just start testing that.
Yeah, that was one of the things in the early version. You couldn't see some of the text.
And even here,
I think that's when you started building this.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, now it should see that the image is missing, I hope. And then it's going to be like, oh, wait, that's not right. Dark mode looks clean. Oh, that didn't catch it. So I might have to be more angry at it.
You gotta swear at it.
Probably.
But just to be clear, like this is Copilot navigating.
Yeah, I'm not doing
John's not touching anything.
This is using Maui DevFlow to do whatever it needs to do. It clicks in places. It flipped dark mode.
The AI services are loving this because it's just ringing in the dollars.
Well, and especially because like it's reading images back, right? So it's often electing to do screenshots instead of just trying to reason about the state of the page. So it's trying to add all this, and I'll probably have to be like, hey, like, no, it's not right. Like, do you still have work to do? And so maybe if I had given it a little bit better of a spec up front, looked at the plan, looked at the success criteria, I could have maybe gotten farther in one shot than I did. But I find my own personal workflow style, like I like to be in the loop a bit because I'll see something and I'll be like, no, I don't like that anymore. Even if it was my idea from the start, and then I'll want to redirect and kind of go along with it, as it is evolving.
You want to stop the blank check rating.
That too.
It can sometimes spend, if you let it, it'll go for hours if you don't be like, just stop. Don't bother. And I found that so when I had to implement controls, image, it had some fun times with, believe it or not. Image was a little bit harder than your standard, entry control, which was funny. So what are you guiding it to do now?
Well, I'm not happy that I have the secrets provider set up unless it tried to do some brand new thing. So it should hopefully go back to settings and kind of look. Yeah, look at the secrets page for inactive. Well, that's not the page that you're going to want to see. But it's going to go back to, it's going to go do its thing. Anyway, we can carry on with.
Do you want you got the screen, so why don't you show your platform?
No. You go back and let's flip.
All right. So John's kicked off.
But it is, by the way, finding that like so it used the certificates page to be like, well, it works there. And now it's like, oh, I see. Like this thing's calling this thing when it loads in the other pages. And it's fun. It's cool.
Oh, look at this. And David is yapping at us, by the way. And
I closed the chat window for once. Should have kept it open.
I don't know what the heck he's talking about. Think Jackbox, make a game that works with phones. Use your imagination, Richie. Dream bigger. I don't know if David's still on the stream, but I don't even know what you're talking about, dude. I'm not going to. You got to watch chat, John. That's usually your job.
Oh, he's Academy Awards. So that was the app, the Apple TV app that uses .NET.
I had no idea what he said. I lost context because I didn't have it on screen. So
yeah. So.
All right. So the platforms we advertised, we've shown, right? So we did Apple TV. We did the terminal. And then John and I went crazy and did two more. Now his app is much more beautiful than this one, but I decided to do macOS. And macOS is actually fairly good for implementing stuff on, minus carousel, believe it or not. Carousel view was not happy doing.
But, we didn't mention for Apple TV, one of the big unfortunate things is there's no web views, right?
There is no web views. And we're going to see here in a minute that we do have a Blazor web view running on macOS. John basically communicated, and again, if David's on the stream, David nagged John nagged me, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
You nagged your AI.
Yeah, it took a while. I think I burned a lot of tokens getting it to work.
This is one where I found pointing it at prior art. So like, MAUI implementations, or should mention again the app dev tools, which uses .NET. And if we had these platforms available back when the author made it, they might have used MAUI. But because we didn't have Blazor working on Linux and we didn't have Mac OS, so like the Mac Catalyst version of Blazor Hybrid has some limitations with Mac OS in general. So they chose to use like AppKit and do their own thing. So this is good for that as well, right? Because now there's stuff you can do in an AppKit app that is hard to do in Catalyst or sometimes impossible. I think they had problems with like capturing right clicks and stuff like that and just doing a tighter system integration that they wanted.
So I haven't done, or I was able to do most of the controls. So you can see switch, checkbox. Now the choice of colors is bad. Give me a break. There's a web view working, which we didn't see in the Apple TV side. Obviously, Apple TV wants native only, AOT only. There's a progress bar, which I don't have bound anything. There is.
You can see the indicator.
It's there. Borders, again, it does work. We're in dark mode and I can't get it out of that mode right now. And there's a shadow on a button. So that works. Collection view. Show collection view. We'll come back.
I like is the top thing, this is a tab page. So it's using like the native. I like that. Yeah, that's nice. So that kind of stuff is hard to do in Catalyst.
We've got battery control, so it knows it's on AC, energy savers off. It's listening for connectivity changes, which obviously I'm not going to disconnect. It's got all the device display, the file system. Let's see. It shows a very bad font color.
Yeah.
A white entry with a white font. That's
So one of the things that, and I think I showed you the link, like I had it do an audit of like what are the handler properties that I'm missing or are not well implemented. And I think like again, as we accumulate learnings of like how to fill out these platforms, that's the kind of thing that's going to really help just get some of those details.
Funny enough, it went to a white screen for this one.
There. Interesting.
So it is there. It is saving. I'm not sure why it's done this. This actually must have changed recently. but secrets, save, remove, file picker, and media picker do exist. Media picker, there is no capture photo, there is no capture video.
Right.
So
So
but there is
a file. Yeah.
It's basically a file picker with
It's a reasonable default.
Yeah. So the picking is there. The capturing is not. So and it doesn't exist. It was like you'd have to emulate all of that to get it. You probably don't want to do it. Now I don't mind burning AI, but I was like, let's get the quick wins for this guy and come back. So the last one, which I think is probably the biggest, is Blazor in.
Yeah. Again, like if this was a thing that existed, I think, Dev Toys would have been using this instead. I think I will switch Sherpa to use this once it's, a package and we've got it somewhere. Just because, again, you can do better integrations with the OS and in AppKit apps. You can do menu bars. You can do a few other like tricks and stuff too.
And it nav works, but yeah, this is your Blazor web view. Now it had to do some stuff out that climbed out of the box a bit. There is an Add Maui web view or Add Maui Blazor web view. It did not want to operate with that. I don't know why. I think it started bouncing on some internal sealed stuff and went, okay, we're going to go a different route altogether. It is kind of a separate view, built on top of the original Blazor web view. But this was the route it had to take in order to get this working. But you see it there. It is indeed working.
So one thing, just with what David's mentioning in the chat, the UI skill choices or the UI styling choices. So we'll have to get the link and put it in here. But I know David has been iterating on a bunch of skills for Maui development, and like it probably would work well to have those skills here as we're filling out platforms so that it makes some reasonable choices. Like that might just be another assist if we choose some of the skills, even because David's got the list is like, it's huge, it's massive. And so like you kind of want to pick and choose the things that are most useful, I think. But I think that will be helpful. That's a good idea to pull in as we're filling this out.
I did want to mention too, David, that my samples are running because I ran them before you joined the chat. So you could not jinx me today. And it hasn't crashed yet.
We're not even done. Chat, I think that
but
alone just is going to jinx things now.
It's all right because you're up next. You're up next.
All right.
So that's. I honestly think that this is in a really good shape. This particular provider, it implemented a lot of the stuff. Like I said, alerts are here. These just work. You can get away with some of the reflection stuff on macOS is very forgiving. Apple TV, not forgiving at all. At all. It hates if you do anything. I tried something as simple as getting an attribute and it went, no, and bombed out. So be careful. But macOS, everything here works. Everything. I don't think I've had trouble implementing anything except for Blazor WebView.
There's also like there's a good foundation of, in the worst case scenario, you could probably point this back at some of the Xamarin Forms macOS implementation that existed, right? It would know at least how to reach into some of the AppKit APIs and stuff. Like, I think there's a good amount of subject matter available for this for the model to do well with this. But I still think, the stuff like the tab pages, to me, if you're building a desktop app, and especially here, I'm going to flip back over to, if you're done, that is.
I was going to, you know what? Let me just pull up I don't want to pull up that. We're not looking at my email. I want to pull up the browser. Did I close the browser?
Yeah, what I was basically going to say is desktop apps, and especially like the Maui DevFlow stuff, if you look at how Sherpa has iterated and how other apps, like there's another one that a few folks on my team and my partner teams are working on together. And it's a Blazor hybrid web view app as well. And like AI just does really well with that. So I think if you are doing desktop, even if we use like the macOS backend and stuff, this workflow of having like the hybrid web view app is just amazing.
Yep.
But then I think like the cool thing is you can mix in some elements. Like I like having the idea of the tabs across and, you know, that are native, and then maybe you have different web view pages for areas of your app or something like that. I think there's a good approach to kind of blending some of these worlds together now.
So, this is open source. The repo is there. Jon's TUI or terminal UI is there. Again, I'll share all these links after. There's the Maui dev flow. There's the Sherpa, which Jon is building stuff for right now. I'm going to share some of my blog URLs because I've been letting AI do a lot of my blogging lately. Look at see. I did put some learnings there. Well, AI put some learnings there, but hey, it's good. So, that is it for my stuff. Now for Jon's final platform. Just in closing, I think this macOS version, this is quite usable. For the most part, I was able to do almost everything in it. Whereas, you know, you can't see it all because my sampling is ugly, but I usually make ugly stuff. Pretty much everything is there. It's just go for it.
So I think that like the next step with some of these things is I don't think there's something that we want to pull into Maui per se officially, right? Like it's and part of doing this, and I'll have to give credit to Shane, who like years ago now already, I asked him to do a spike on WPF and to see if we could do WPF as a backend for Maui to figure out where the gaps were. Like we to not have it be a fork or like in the repo is kind of the point, right? So like these things are standalone, right? They're not. We didn't fork Maui. We don't have the whole Maui code base alongside of it. It's not heavy. It's not bulky. It doesn't have to ship with Maui. And to me, that was always the goal, because I wanted to be able to have people to be able to build these things and not have to get, you know, Maui to merge things or not have to maintain their own fork that they're pulling changes down. So these are NuGet packages, right? I think macOS, we can probably do a little bit of work to make it integrate nicely in like a multi-targeted project. Whereas like Terminal UI and the other platform that I'll show in a second can't really, because there's no platform TFM for them. There's no dash, you know, whatever. So those kind of have to be their own separate head project, or at least like we have to figure out a pattern that looks nice for multi-targeting those, if that's what we want to do.
tvOS has a dash tvOS.
Yeah.
You could bring that into Maui.
Right? Yeah, no. Well, no, but that's the point, is like, let's get these things, like I'd like to establish some patterns around maybe some naming conventions, around how you include them in your project, and maybe these go in, you know, an organization or maybe the community tool. I don't know. We'll talk about details and figure it out. But I'd like to get these somewhere for people to start contributing to. Maybe we need to go find, you know, some people who want to own, you know, some of the maintainership of it, whether that's you, Alan, for your stuff or other stuff, or other people. But I think the point is, I'd love to see this progress into like a community effort, where people can go use it, and like now I can bring my apps to more platforms, but it's not part of the core Maui product, because that just,
and it probably never will, right? Because there's too many things, like the TUI isn't going to have an image, right?
No, exactly.
So you could add everything else, but it's never going to have an image. It's never going to have essentials.
Yeah. And that's kind of the point, right? You get a pattern now to have community go build other platforms and do more beyond just what we can support. Like, I think it's a really nice setup.
All right, Jon, show it. Let's see it. You're on screen now. People want to see it.
This did its thing. I'm keeping you in suspense a little bit more.
I know, but
I'm going to just have it try creating the secret while we do this.
Okay.
Because I want to see it tested. So Alan, you probably saw like on the side while my screen wasn't shared. Could you see like it flashing around while we were talking? Like it was running the app. It was testing it. It was doing stuff, right? And so now it's going to go. Yeah, we have to watch it now. I'm sorry. I have to keep you in suspense.
It's all right. It's all right.
Look at that. It's adding a test API key. I don't know if it'll get description. Wow, very good. And let's see the value. Oh, look at it. Oh, nice. click create. And like these dialogues and stuff that it came up with, like I would never
they're
have
beautiful.
done this. If I had built this, I would never have done this.
It's got a nice like frosted blurred background.
Yeah.
And I know for designers and stuff that seems common, but like when you're just throwing stuff on a screen, right? When you're more of a back end, I don't want to say back end, that's
so
more of the guy that does the code that does these things.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't, you're like, well, of course, that's obvious. It's not for me, man.
No, exactly. So this was interesting because it took a little bit to do. So it kind of thought like you could see it looking. Oh, there is an issue. Maybe it's timing out somehow still. But it's like it went and looked at, excuse me, the logs, right? So there's like a logs command. So Maui DevFlow also adds like an iLogger. I don't know what you call it, consumer. So that it writes its own logs out so that when you are debugging, one, it can go sprinkle its own logging calls in as it needs and as it sees fit, and then go run things and then capture the logging output from the log provider, which is kind of neat. So it went and did that and it's just like, oh, I see that it worked, but like something's not happening. Something's weird. Let me go figure it out. So
good thing you got free AI because man, that thing is going. Okay.
Oh, it's going. Well, yeah. This will keep churning and you'll see it in the background. But
yeah, let it go.
Now,
let's put the good thing up.
All right. So we've always wanted a Linux backend for Maui. And there's been attempts. And again, I think that this effort could be more successful because of people's previous attempts. Javier used to work on the Maui team, did a lot of work around this back in the day. I know Avalonia has been looking at doing this. I without stepping on toes, this isn't intended to compete with that effort or anything. This was an experiment of like, hey, could we do this? And can we have, the things working on it? And so this was, I spent a bit of more time of going back and forth with, my AI. And I had to help this along a little bit more. It got stuck in some areas like resizing the sidebar thing here, the flyout. So this is a flyout page, right? I can click the button, close it, and I can open it.
It's funny because that comes out of the box for GTK from what I remember.
Yeah, it's a control that comes out of the box, but it didn't know how to use it well. And then to resize like the Maui containers inside of it, it had some trouble. And then at one point, these buttons in here were like stretched out too far. So it looked like they had no text. And eventually I saw, oh, there's a scroll bar here. And here's a bug still, right? And then I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I think it's just that the buttons are too wide. And then it's like, yeah, that's the problem. Great. And so I had to help it along a lot. And this one was, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, kind of cool because same thing for Maui DevFlow. I literally had Maui DevFlow build itself while it was building the actual Linux backend implementation, the backend for Maui. So it was like going back and forth. Oh, I should be able to like inspect native elements. Here's what we could do to do that on Maui DevFlow. Should I go implement it? Like, yeah, go for it. Okay, now I can inspect elements, and now I can see these buttons are too wide because now I can actually see the properties of the elements running in the app, right? So
now the funny part is, did it ever tell you to implement this feature? It is a significant effort. Did it tell you that?
No. No.
Okay, so on macOS, it gave me that for Blazor WebView, and I shared that link with John, the blurb of text, and he goes, "Get back to work, slacker." So
yeah, like what are you doing?
It did though. That took like a good hour and a half to get Blazor WebView, but it did it. So
right before the show, I wasn't sure if it would finish. It did.
Oh,
I wanted to see that XAML worked. I have to review the changes. I think it mostly just worked, but I did force source generator XAML on here because I figured that would be the easiest route to take because it's just going to do it, right?
And I think to be fair, one of the reasons it doesn't work right now is because I don't think it recognizes the target platform. So it's like,
Yeah, so I think I had to, if I go look at the code, I'm gonna guess, and again, this is where I could steer it, right? Because I know a little bit about how that works, so I would say I had the prompt something like, "Hey, you're gonna have to go look like here in the Maui repos code. Other platforms, have targets and properties that are gonna go include these things. You're gonna have to do a bit of digging and research and figure it out, right?" And then it did. It went and made a plan and researched and eventually built its own sample page here, and it works. So we have XAML working here. So again, those learnings I can have it capture and document, and then you could go pull that into your backend implementations and use it to make sure it works there too, right?
Yeah. And I probably should, because I did not try the XAML.
Yeah,
I did try to get some of the icon stuff working. You know how you've got to put an SVG in, let it resize.
yeah.
That was quite a bit more involved. Apple TV does some really weird stuff there. Mac OS, I don't know. I was having failure. So I said, you know what? This is unimportant. We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
And Apple TV was having none of it. So I was just like, this is one I'll pester John for later, how to fix it. But
this started kind of ugly too. Like I think the first screenshot I sent maybe to you and to David of the Switch was like, yeah, it was terrible.
It was more like a giant eye looking at you.
But you know what? I didn't ever actually I didn't tell it to fix this in particular, but once I got Maui DevFlow to give it itself power to do screenshots and stuff, it realized that it needed to fix it, and so it did.
Right, but it was like
the giant eye of Sauron.
Exactly.
I've been waiting to use that. I was waiting because when I saw it was hilarious. I was like, that's an awesome switch you got going on.
Got the stepper, we got the radio buttons. Like it's all that stuff's working. And then I had to tell it to fix the date time picker. That wasn't working originally. It got picker right though. And then I don't know what it's searching here, but
I gotta say this though.
That stuff all works. Layouts.
Does Linux not look old for some reason?
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
If you pick one of the things I wanted to look at, I'm like, this looks better. But so one of the other thing is this is GTK based, right? So I'm most familiar with GTK historically. So I did tell it, I'm like, go use GTK. There might be other options that are better out there. I don't know enough about the current landscape of things. I don't actually know what's the file app in Ubuntu built in. I'm not sure, honestly.
It's probably GTK.
Is it? Is GTK the GNOME toolkit, or is there another GNOME thing? I don't know. Anyway, my thought was like, hey, this sidebar kind of looks nicer. That's maybe how the flyout should look. The challenge is, and I know David said he's already paying Fedora more money to use it apparently. But they do stuff different. Every distro is going to be a little bit different, and so I don't know. I think GTK should generally work, but I don't know if you could start styling things appropriately for the distro you're on, and that's not really the goal here, right?
I mean, look at how much better your app looks though than all the
well, it did this. I didn't make the demo. I think my prompt was make demos that exercise a bunch of different controls and look nice and pretty. We've got all of the border stuff. I don't think we have the dashed lines yet, but that was one of the things that it came up with as a gap in terms of features. It can nest layouts.
Yeah, the stroke type.
So but that's all working. Alerts and dialogues, that was hard again because of the no public API. Yeah, and then I think GTK is weird about their API. It had to do a lot of work figuring out how to make it work. And it's also weirdly kind of delayed. And I think there's a message loop polling or something when it requests the dialogue. I don't know. I have to dig into that one farther. For now, I'm it works at least.
I noticed that with kind of some of the other dialogues too. When you'd hit it, it would take a second to pop up.
Yeah.
What the hell is that? Oh, look at that. The collection view.
Yeah, it's fine. Those items. There's the templated one. Now this one, another bug or something anyway. There's a nested scroll view. So I have to figure out what that's doing. But it has it's a templated data template, right? It's working. That's cool.
Beautiful.
I can select items, right? And then I could be I don't think it actually removes them, but I would delete 2 tasks. graphics, Maui graphics.
Oh, wow. You went for it.
Yeah, why not? It's working.
This was one I left out intentionally because I figured there was going to be just a ton of issues. I'm not even sure what the canvas would, but I don't think there is a canvas on Apple TV.
Yeah, there might not be.
Have it, though.
Yeah. So
I'll go for it. I'll go for it.
And that was always a thought too, is like, okay, if we can do, canvases, like maybe that opens the door for something that's more like Avalonia and how they do drawing controls. But I don't know. I figured let's start with what we can do natively. Device info, we talked about this, like it's pulling from, assembly stuff for like the app info. There might be room for improvement here, but it just did this itself. I'm not too unhappy about the results, right? I've got the paths and everything. Oh, and also this is ARM64 Linux. This is a VM on my MacBook.
Yep.
Right. So like it works there, which is cool too.
Beautiful.
Battery, all that stuff works. I don't know how good the network stuff is or not.
Is it wired to the events and everything? Because I think so. Want to do it for me out of the box, and then I was like, "What is this?"
I think it's maybe again it might not be event driven because look, I think it's like trying to just read status. So I'm not sure. That might be an area for improvement too. But again, it's like I don't know. If you're building a Maui app on Ubuntu, like I don't know,
network matters.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm just saying it's
like you could have this run on an RPI
device. Yeah, true.
And I do use connectivity stuff on RPIs constantly.
I skipped over these ones, but yeah, we've got copy and paste, and then save preferences, and then secrets, and this should be using the keyring stuff, which is cool.
I love how yours made the same ugly AI as mine.
Yeah. Launch and share. This is kind of funny because it'll open stuff. That's fine. It'll do the file picker, which is good too. Again, it's kind of slow. So there's some kind of, polling request thing going on. But it'll open like Open Maps website. If you do it, it's like, I'm going to do that. It asked me too for our like geocoding APIs. It's like, there's nothing built in Linux that I can find. Like, do you want me to use this free web API? I'm like, no, like let's not go there. So that works.
Blazor hybrid.
I mean, come on, this is what we want to see, right? It works. Like that right there is just, there's a lot of value, I think. If I know we've in the past had customers that were, bigger companies and stuff be like, oh, we really want, Maui to run on Linux because we use Linux internally for all our systems and stuff. And I don't know if they wanted like full native as much as Blazor hybrid. So this I'm excited about this. I actually want to port Sherpa to Linux too, because why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, man. This one looks of all the platforms, maybe this is the most the highest reach. I think macOS could catch up, but so far, I mean, what you're showing is
macOS is useful.
Kind of like fun. Not really sure how relevant or possible they are, but this feels like, I don't want to say polished, but
it's not polished, but it's functional, and it has a lot of the features, right?
Yeah.
So the navigation works, and I had to spend time with it to do like the navigation bar. So there is a built-in control that it figured out to map to, but I wanted, for the flyout menu and stuff, and then toolbar items and the back button, like I wanted something here, and it delivered. That will work, and I can, go pop back with that one too. So navigation all works, and that's so I had it set up in the sample, the flyout page, and then the detail page is a navigation page, which is what you see here, navigating around, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah, so like that's working. Tab page, I'm pretty happy with that too, honestly.
Ooh, icons.
Yeah. Flyout page, like I mentioned, we're already using, but you could always, nest one inside of the other too if you wanted.
That's gross, eh?
It's terrible, but it works. You can. Yeah, so I mean, it's functional, it's running. Again, I want to get this cleaned up a little bit, and I switched this right before to the convention of My thought was we do a lot of like plugin.maui stuff. So maybe we want to go with something like platform.maui. I don't know if that prefix is available on NuGet or if it's reserved or something, but
we'll figure it out when we get that far. Maybe it ends
yeah,
up
and then I
get something.
For like Linux, you know, I kind of also wanted to be sensitive to the fact that there might be other Linux backends, and so I don't want to just call it, you know, the Maui Linux platform, I guess, because I don't know, maybe Avalonia wants to do theirs named similarly. Maybe somebody wants to implement KDE or something. Who knows?
So that was the fun we had over the course of this week.
Look at this.
4 platforms, and look at that. John's Copilot is done.
While we were talking, it did its thing. I don't know why it shows. We probably don't want it to show by default. I guess it.
Nice.
That's an ugly way to do it. But and then the publish, so that moved, right? So I guess I can select the ones I want to publish.
Oh my, look at that.
And the Apple one is like a sub thing of that. I don't know if I like that or not. Again, this is kind of why I say when I do these things, I kind of sometimes give it an idea, but the outcome I want to change. So I might not like this, but maybe I do. I don't know. We'll see.
So Sherpa continues to evolve. What is this? This you haven't told me about. What?
Yeah. So I was finding as I was getting this working with Windows that there was some dialogues that looked terrible, and I'm like, I don't want to repeat the actual process it was doing. Right.
Okay.
So give me like a whole set of all the dialogues that you mock, right, and then show it to me here. And this is kind of neat to show you too, the stuff it came up with. So that was like running a process, right? So some kind of script or a install or whatever. Operations are more like we can do it in code, but it might be a longer running task that we want to show you. Like that's beautiful. I would never have made this.
No, that's awesome.
And then like I think the failure one should even, I don't know if, yeah. So this is the whole thing of hey, we don't know what happened, but do you want to try Copilot, right? Like the blend of the two worlds, if you want.
I've never looked. What framework did it end up choosing for UI?
It shows. Sorry, I've got a very important junk call coming that I have to the button on. It chose. What did I tell it? Blazer Eyes. I asked it to use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I did at first ask it to use that, and I think that's what all of this still is.
David says the volume of work at a high level of quality that has shipped this week is mind-boggling.
It truly is. And again, like, yes, we have to go do more code, reviewing and auditing. And there's going to be stuff in here that I'm like, I don't like how it did that and I want to change it. But it's a starting point it's a huge starting point. Like this is wild. Like I wouldn't have built this.
He's going to stick customers on these implementations. I can see.
Yeah, but I mean, it's open, right? Like that's the other part. This is all the backends that we're doing are open source. You can go use them or not, or change them, or do whatever you need.
Oh, what's going to happen there?
Yeah, I know. And this goes through to the native dialogues, which is kind of neat, right?
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, this one doesn't do anything.
End up pulling in old ACR user dialogues.
Oh, and then I wanted to debug the update thing because I didn't like how it looked, and it still could use a little bit of work. Those bullets are
okay, fine.
But yeah, you get the idea. So that shows up in debug mode so that it can help itself to improve things.
John takes my PRs YOLO style, and then I'm like, it may not work.
Oh yeah, did we try it was a copy and paste.
Yeah, it was a copy and paste of the settings. Is that in there?
I think so. I mean, I could do it if I wanted to. I'm not gonna.
Well, this was for me because I like the OpenJDK, it wasn't taking. So there's some stuff we're sorting out.
It's even smart enough that like if I don't change the value, it goes back to not allowing me to apply it. I love it.
Beautiful.
Absolutely wild.
Well, that is it.
That's it. We're an hour and a bit.
All the links to this stuff will be shared. Now they probably will be moving. The two that I did, the Apple TV and the macOS, is on God.net. John hoarded his on his account. But I think we'll probably do some polishing, some centralization. Like I said, there's no XAML working.
I mean, There is on
Really?
Linux now. So
Okay,
I'll go back and figure out what needs to happen for that for other platforms. And I'm waiting on David to try the packages from the build on Fedora and see if it even works. So,
oh, there you go. So we'll be doing something with these. Even the Apple TV, I'm sure. It'll be marked appropriately as use at your own risk. I don't think that one's going to go anywhere. But I do feel like the Linux and the Mac OS, they do have some legs.
Oh, and go get Maui DevFlow. I just updated today. It's 0.8, which introduces a better setup for dealing with figuring out the ports. I know that was kind of a pain point. Now there's this whole broker daemon that runs kind of like the ADB daemon, and it just things figure out how to match make themselves and set themselves up, and it's glorious.
It's a good day. It's a good day.
It's great. All right. Well, that'll do it. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks David for hanging out. We'll see you all next time on Gone.net.
Ciao, everybody.